Very good morning and Jai Hind children. Welcome to chemistry class. Children, we have completed the explanation of chapter that is coal and petroleum. So today we will start with the exercise. Children, we have also done the exercise part. In the previous class we have started the exercise and we have done till short answer question type 1. Alright, and I hope everybody has completed it in their notebook also. In your fair notebook you have to do short answer question type 1. Okay, so today we are going to discuss short answer question type 2, long answer question and HOTS question. Children, you will write all these question answers in your fair notebook. Okay, so let's start with this discussion of the exercise. So children, please be ready with your book, your fair notebook. If you want to write it right now, you can also do that. Okay, so let's start with it. So we have already discussed short answer question type 1. So now this is short answer question type 2. Question number 1. Question number 1 is, children, omitted from your syllabus, so you don't have to write it. You will start from writing question number 2. Okay, so what is question number 2? Question number 2 is, why is topsoil considered a non-renewable resource even though it is constantly being formed by weathering of rocks? Children, in class 7th you have studied about weathering of rocks. So weathering of rocks is a process of formation of soil. Alright, from rock the soil is formed in different layers. So that is weathering of rock. So we know that topsoil is being prepared by the process of weathering of rocks every time. But still the topsoil is considered under non-renewable resource. Why? So the answer is because once topsoil is eroded, it cannot be replaced immediately. अगर soil erosion की वजह से top soil remove हो गया तो it cannot again become fertile and it cannot again be reformed. Okay, so this is the answer, that is topsoil takes hundreds of years to form. Once topsoil is eroded or by the process of soil erosion, it cannot be replaced immediately. So this is the process. Like this, weathering of rock also takes 100 years to be formed. So this is the answer for this question. Now coming on to question number 3. Why do you feel the need for conservation more today than our ancestors did? So our ancestors were not so much concerned about conserving these resources. Okay, but now today we are very much concerned about conserving these resources. Rather, the government is more concerned about conserving these resources. So what is the reason? So children, I have told you there are basically two reasons for it. First, the population is increasing drastically, and as the population is increasing, the need for food, clothing and shelter is also increasing. Second reason is because of our increasing lifestyle. जैसे जैसे हमारी लाइफस्टाइल और एडवांस और मॉडर्न होती जा रही है, वैसे वैसे हमारी नेसेसिटीज और बढ़ती जा रही हैं. Alright, we require AC, we require car, we require all the facilities we require. Alright, to fulfill our needs we require all types of facilities. And to fulfill these facilities, after having these facilities, what happens? We are harming the environment, we are harming the natural resources. So today, because of these two reasons, conserving these natural resources has become a great cause of concern. Alright, so let's see what is the answer. We feel the need for conservation more today than our ancestors did. There are two primary reasons for this. First is the population of world has increased. Okay, there are more people on earth and they use more resources to feed, clothe and house themselves. So this only I told you that as population is increasing, we require more resources to feed, for food, for clothing and for shelter. Okay. Next reason is, as humans have progressed, their needs have increased. Their needs for energy have increased several folds. The average resources consumed per person have therefore increased considerably. So individually, if we look individually to ourselves, our necessities have also increased. Our consumption of energy has increased. Like we have two mobiles or one mobile, whatever. Every person at home is having its own mobile. Alright. And to charge that mobile, we require energy. Got it? Apart from the mobile, you must be having certain video games, certain playing materials. That also requires and consumes energy. You must have a laptop. You must be having a laptop. Your laptop also requires energy. It also consumes energy. Got it? So individually also humans have progressed so much that the consumption of energy has also increased. And that is the main reason why we are now concerned about conserving these resources. Okay. So because of these two factors, the natural resources today are getting used up and depleted much faster than a few decades back. Therefore, if we do not practice conservation, we will endanger our very survival. Got it? Now coming on to question number 4. How was coal formed? How was coal formed, children? So we know that coal is formed from the dead plants that are buried inside the soil, and with the help of heat and pressure, the wood of plant is converted into coal. Okay, so this is the answer written. Coal was formed from dead plants buried under earth crust over million of years by heat and pressure. Got it? So this is the simple answer, one line answer, and you know it. Okay. Now question number 5. What are the important uses of coke? Children, we know that coke is more useful than coal because of certain reasons. So let's see what are the reasons. First is, it is a good fuel and burns with no smoke. So it does not liberates any smoke, that is why it is good. Okay. It is used to reduce metal oxide to get metals. तो हमें मेटल को भी फॉर्म करने के लिए क्या करते हैं, मेटल ऑक्साइड्स में से ऑक्साइड को हटा के मेटल हम यूज कर सकते हैं. लाइक टेक फॉर एग्जांपल वी हैव मैग्नीशियम ऑक्साइड, ऑलराइट, एंड वी वांट टू ऑब्टेन मैग्नीशियम फ्रॉम मैग्नीशियम ऑक्साइड. So what we can do is we will add coke to it, then the oxygen will combine to coke and the magnesium individually will be obtained. Same goes with any other kind of metal oxide. Now coming on to third important use of coke is, it is used to manufacture gaseous fuels, produce a gas by passing through red hot coke and water gas by passing steam over white hot coke. Now children, what happens? It helps in manufacturing of gaseous fuel. कैसे? अगर हमारे पास कोई लिक्विड फ्यूल है, हमने उस कोक रख दिया, कोक को बर्न कर दिया, तो कोक के बर्न करने की वजह से हम कोल बर्न करते हैं, वैसे हमने कोक बर्न किया तो क्या होगा कि जो लिक्विड फ्यूल है वो वेपर या गैसियस फ्यूल के फॉर्म में कन्वर्ट हो जाएगा. Got it? Like we were doing the destructive distillation process. Alright. So again that coke helps in conversion or manufacture of gaseous fuel. So these are the important uses of coke. Now coming on to question number 6. How are petroleum formed? So children, in the difference between the formation of coal and petroleum is only one. So what is the one difference? In coal, dead plants are buried, whereas in petroleum, sea animals are buried. Got it? Procedure is same. It takes place in a land area, but petroleum, it is found under the sea or ocean area. Got it? So how was petroleum formed? Petroleum was formed from dead sea animals buried under the earth crust over million of years under under high temperature and pressure. Got it? So by this process petroleum was formed. This is question number 6. Now question number 7. Name 4 important products of petroleum and give their uses. So children, this table is also there in your book. You can refer from there also. So these are the 4 important products we have, that is LPG, that is liquefied petroleum gas. Then we have petrol, we have kerosene, we have diesel, and these are the uses. So what is LPG used for? It is used for as a fuel for home and industry. Petrol in motor vehicles, solvent for dry cleaning. Alright, so petrol is used. Kerosene is used in jet engine fuels, domestic fuels, etc. Diesels in motor vehicles, electric generators. So these are the uses of product of petroleum. Got it? So you will write it in this tabular form only in the same ruled side page. So I think there should be no confusion. Now coming on to question number 8, last question of short answer question type 2. So question number 8 is, what are advantages of using energy judiciously? Alright, judiciously means to use it very effectively. So judicious use of energy has 2 main advantages. First, it will delay the energy crisis. Alright, it will give time to our scientists, it will give more time to our scientists to develop more efficient alternative source of energy. So children, we cannot just walk away from the energy crisis. It will come sooner or later, but we can delay it by using the energy effectively. Got it? So it can delay the energy crisis and it will give some time to the scientists so that they can think over any good and best alternative source of energy. Okay. So this was about short answer question type 2. Now coming on to long answer question, question number 1. How is destructive distillation of coal carried out? What are the products obtained and their main uses? So children, we have studied about destructive distillation. In destructive distillation, what happens? Coal is heated at approximately 1000 degrees Celsius in the absence of air. This is very important, in the absence of air, and we get these products like coke, coal gas, coal tar, ammonium compound. So this is the diagram. This diagram you will draw on the left side of your page in front of this question. Okay. So what happens in this process is, we take a boiling tube or 2 boiling tubes, and we put a coal over here, we burn it. Okay. Then what happens? The vapor passes through this tube and condenses in this another boiling tube where water is already present, which will settle down the coal tar and will form an ammonium compound, that is ammonium liquor, and the gas again will be liberated in the form of coal gas, and the residue that will be left is called coke. So these are the components that are formed from this destructive distillation of coal. So children, this is very important, you have to draw this diagram. Okay. Now coming on to question number 2. How is refining of petroleum carried out? Name the important products obtained. So children, there is diagram in your book also for this refining of petroleum. You can draw that diagram also, and you can draw this diagram also. In children, in this diagram everything is mentioned. Alright. So whatever you feel like, if you feel that diagram is easy, that is mentioned in your book, you can draw that, or you can draw this diagram. Okay. So there are several procedures. Let's see what are they. First is, refining of petroleum is carried out in petroleum refinery. So एक बहुत बड़ी इंडस्ट्री होती है, that I have already shown you when we were studying this topic. तो एक बहुत बड़ी इंडस्ट्री होती है, वहाँ पे रिफाइनरीज होती है, बहुत बड़े बड़े टैंक्स होते हैं which is divided into several fractions. Okay, so what happens, crude oil is first heated to about 400 degrees Celsius in the furnace. Here you can see in the furnace crude oil is heated at 400 degrees Celsius. The vapor formed are passed into a tall fractionating tank. जो भी वेपर फॉर्म हो रहा है वो इस फ्रैक्शनेटिंग टैंक में जाएगा. ठीक. The hydrocarbons with highest boiling point condenses first. So from below will start the above. तो नीचे सबसे पहले कंडेंसेशन शुरू होगा और सबसे बाद में ऊपर की तरफ होगा जहां पे बॉइलिंग पॉइंट कम है. ठीक है. So they get separated in fractionating tar to form a different fractions. So we have different fractions depending on their boiling point. So this differentiation is done on the basis of boiling point. Okay. So the various fractions obtained are petroleum gas, gasoline, naphtha, kerosene, light oil, heavy oil and residue. So all these things are formed here. We also get petrol, diesel, all these things are formed here in this fractionating tank depending on the difference in boiling point. So this diagram you will draw again on the left hand side of your notebook. Okay. Children, you can draw colorful diagrams also. Okay. And I will see this work in your notebook whenever we are having the Zoom interactive class. Alright. Now coming on to third question. List 5 things that you can do to help in preventing an energy crisis. Energy crisis को prevent करने के लिए what are the things that we can do? So we can prevent an energy crisis by following ways. What is it? Using room coolers, air conditioners, geyser etc. only when needed. जब हमें इन सब की ज़रूरत हो तभी हम उसको यूज़ करें. Second, reducing the flame of burner while cooking to save fuel. हम burner को धीमा कर दें जब भी हम खाना बना रहे हैं. Okay. Using CFLs and tube lights which use less energy instead of bulbs. So bulb consume more energy than CFLs and tube lights. Okay. Using public transport instead of private vehicles as much as possible. So private vehicle will consume more energy, as more fuel it will consume, as individual person will go, and it is less effective. Rather we should go for a public transport. Okay. Now coming on to last point, that is walking or cycling along small distances. So if we have to go to a small distance, don't use your scooty or bike or car. You can go by walking and cycling. It is also a very good exercise. Okay, it will keep you fit and healthy. So these are the few methods by which we can prevent the energy crisis. Got it? Now coming on to fourth question. How is CNG obtained? What are its main uses? Children, what is the full form of CNG? It is compressed natural gas. Okay, and how it is obtained? So natural gas is found along with petroleum in the reservoir was under the ground. This gas is chiefly made up of methane. But apart from methane, we also have certain amount of butane and propane that we have already discussed. So natural gas is also formed by the same process as petroleum. So these sea animals are buried inside the earth crust, and with the heat and pressure they are converted into a liquid and gaseous substance. So liquid is a crude oil and gas that we have is natural gases. Got it? So then with the help of pipes and tanks we take out this natural gas. Natural gas mainly contains methane. The formula of methane is CH4. It can also contain a small amount of butane and propane. So what are the uses of CNG? It can be easily transported through pipes. Because it is in the form of gas, it can be transported through pipes and is a clean non-polluting fuel. Children, This is the reason why now we are shifting towards the CNG rather than using petrol and diesel. So what is the main reason? Because it is clean and non-polluting fuel. Okay. It is stored under high pressure as compressed natural gas. ठीक है, इसको हम प्रेशर में, हाई प्रेशर में और कंप्रेस करके रखते हैं, इसीलिए ये गैसियस फॉर्म में कन्वर्टेड रहता है, एंड दैट इज व्हाई इट इज कॉल्ड कंप्रेस्ड नेचुरल गैस. When natural gas is compressed, it is called compressed natural gas. And how it is compressed? By using high pressure. CNG is used for power generation. It is also used for generating powers. Alright. Now, fourth point is, in some parts of India, CNG is supplied to homes and factories through pipes and directly as fuel. So, कहीं कहीं पे, अभी आपने यूपी में तो नहीं, बट व्हेन यू गो टू दिल्ली और पुणे और महाराष्ट्र समवेयर, there the pipelines of CNG is going to every locality and they are using this CNG as fuel in the kitchen and even in the industries. Alright. So CNG is supplied to homes and factories through pipes and directly as a fuel. Got it? So CNG is also now being used as a non-polluting fuel for vehicles. So these auto rickshaws and auto and whatever the public vehicles are there, they are now mostly using CNG as a fuel. So there are two reasons for it basically. First, CNG is cheap. Okay. Second, it is non-polluting. Okay, and it is easily available. So these are the reason why CNG is now being used as a non-polluting fuel for vehicles. So this was the long answer question, children. You will do this in your fair notebook. As you know, the things that I have bold, that are the words that are bold and underlined here, not this highlighted one, this one, you will write it with black pen and you will underline it. I hope I am clear with this. So you will underline these points, these subheadings. Okay. So that was about long answer questions. Now coming to the HOTS question. So we have 6 HOTS question, among which one is omitted. So we have 5 HOTS question. So question number 1. If a resource can be replaced within 10 years, कोई resource है जिसको हम 10 साल में replace कर सकते हैं by natural process, would you classify it as renewable or non-renewable? So children, this is very simple. We will classify it as renewable because 10 years is a reasonable time. Okay. So if anything is again getting replaced within a reasonable time, we can consider it under renewable resource. Okay. So this is renewable resource. Now coming on to question number 2. All renewable resources are inexhaustible. Okay. Do you agree? Give answers. Give reasons. जितने भी renewable resources होते हैं, क्या वो inexhaustible होते हैं? क्या वो कभी खत्म नहीं होते हैं? No. The answer is no. Why? Because we take example of groundwater. So groundwater is a renewable resource, but it is exhaustible in nature. Okay, it can get exhausted if not preserved or not consumed in a right amount. Okay, so answer is no, they are exhaustible. If we use them faster, then they are naturally replenished. So if you want to write, you can write example is groundwater. Okay. Now question number 3. All combustible substances are not fuel. Why? जितने भी combustible substances होते हैं, combustible substances यानी जो कि heat और light produce कर रहे हैं, वो fuel नहीं होते हैं. क्यों? The answer is, to be useful as fuel, a combustible substance should be able to give heat energy at reasonable cost. Children, this reasonable cost is very important. Therefore, all combustible substances cannot be called as fuel. Children, there are several combustible substances, but they are not very cost effective so that we can use it. Alright, so this is the reason why all combustible substances are not fuel. And more importantly, they do not generate that much amount of energy which is required for a fuel. Okay, so that is why they does not fulfill the condition to be a fuel. That is why all combustible substances are not considered under fuel. Now coming on to question number 4. Can fossil fuels be made in laboratory? Children, I hope आपके मन में भी ये क्वेश्चन आया होगा कि क्या हम फॉसिल फ्यूल को लैब पे बना सकते हैं. सो आंसर इज fossil fuel contains chemicals that can be made in the laboratory. Therefore, in principle, it is possible to make synthetic fossil fuels in the laboratory. However, cost effectiveness will be the main issue. हम नेचुरल फॉसिल फ्यूल जैसे कि कोल, पेट्रोलियम और नेचुरल गैस नहीं बना सकते, लेकिन हम सिंथेटिक फॉसिल फ्यूल्स बना सकते हैं. लेकिन इट विल कॉस्ट लाइक it is not very cost effective and it is not, मतलब हम कितना amount of कोई भी natural चीज use करेंगे, we will get the product that we are getting from the laboratory will be in a very less amount. Though we can prepare it by like we can prepare a synthetic fossil fuel, but the amount will be so less that it is not in much use. Okay, so this is the reason. Now question number 5 is omitted from your syllabus, so you don't have to write it. Now coming on to the last question, that is question number 6. In a petroleum well, got it? Crude oil is found above water. Okay. Which two properties of petroleum make it possible to form a layer of it above water? Children, yes, this is very important, interesting question. Children, petroleum, if you know, is nothing but a crude oil, and we know that oil does not get dissolved in water and it is lighter than water. So because petroleum is lighter in density than water, that is why it is automatically coming above the water level. Alright, so this is the reason. First, because crude oil is oil and it cannot be soluble in, it is not soluble in water, and because the density of oil is less than water, so it is above the